Hi, year three. Hopefully, you've written your poems. If you haven't written your poems and done your learning from the slides, then you can't look at this bit yet. So make sure you pause this one and go back and do your work. And this is for when you're very finished everything. Okay, we had a look at different types of writing. There was information reports, procedures, stories or narratives, and this one was a poem or a rhyme. Now, the first question for question one, what type of text is this? You should have written a poem or a rhyme. I wonder how you knew. Did you know because the end words rhymed or because they were spread out over the page? Maybe because, I wonder how you go backwards. Because there was commas and some full stops, but have a look at this capital letter, and there's not a full stop. So did you notice that? Maybe you noticed 5 alive, 10 again, go, so, bite, right. I'm not sure. Hopefully, you had one of those kind of things. Pictures. The pictures make us realize question three who it's been written for. This one's written for children. And why has it been written? So, there's a couple of reasons this one is helpful. One is it can teach us things. So, kids are learning how to count, little kids, you can do that. But when you're smaller, you're learning to count and you're also learning your left from your right. So, that is a great rhyme. It can also teach kids about writing. And it's fun. I don't know if you know this, but God made us in a way where most of us hear rhyme and enjoy it. We like it. It's fun. And we enjoy play. And poetry is playing with words. So singing and playing is a fun thing. And kids like that. So it was made for fun and for learning. And it's made to share together with people. And what other texts do you know that are the same to this one? Well, you might have known one that starts like this: Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Maybe you know. Maybe you know I'm a little teapot. That's a rhyme. You might know. Here we go around the mulberry bush. You might know, and that one has up and down in it. I wonder which ones you knew. There's quite a few that we do with kids when they're little to help them learn and to sing and to learn about music and words. It's a great thing to do. Our poetic devices, a shopping list, is that a poem? Well, you double check the questions. Is it a poem and why or why not? Okay, I would say, is this a poem? Well, it's not just a list, is it? You can see they've grouped things together. So it's not written a normal shopping list. I don't know if your mum or dad writes one, usually it goes down the page, or a list of ingredients for cooking, or a list of things you need for a science experiment, and this one doesn't. So it makes me think it could be a poem. And when I look at the end, buy and pie, meat and treat, that rhymes. So because it has rhyming and the words are grouped and it has interesting punctuation in it, I would say, yes, that is a poem. Now, this one doesn't rhyme, but it isn't a narrative or an explanation either because I remember a lot of the things Mrs. Dinning's been teaching us about grammar and it doesn't do them. The wonders of the universe around me, the never ending blackness of space. So they're not full sentences. They're a bit funny like that. There's 2 commas and 2 full stops. That means those pairs go together. Oh, how I wish I could travel into the unknown and uncover the lost secrets of time. So that's definitely a poem. It's not a narrative. It's not a description, even though it doesn't rhyme. This is a very interesting one because I wonder what you notice. Slithering snakes along slippery surfaces using side-winding methods. Oh, snake slither, sorry, along. So it has the subject is the snake. The predicate, the rest of it tells us how he moves. It has a capital letter, a full stop. It's a full sentence, that one. What I do notice they've done is he's used, the person who's written it, could be a she, has used a lot of alliteration. Snake, slither, slippery surfaces, side winding. The snake spears its head forward and the rest of its body follows. Some snakes can ascend sandy slopes without slipping while sidewinding. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So I would have said initially this is a report. It's information about snakes and how they move. But the person who's done it has had a bit of a play with the words. So they might be an informative poet. So I'm going to say that one. Oh, there's definitely playing with words in there. If you wrote, actually, you can get a tick for both of those. It's an informative poem. It's an interesting one. And that's why I think. Now, the things that were poems, what did they have in common? well, they played with words a bit, didn't they? There was rhyming, there was alliteration. The punctuation was funny. It wasn't like a narrative, and it was about a main idea. The texts that weren't poems, the information reports, the Goldilocks, the things like that, the full sentences, they're written in an organised way. Whereas poetry is a bit like throwing the words on the page, isn't it? There's a little bit more artistic in the way we put it together. And we don't have to follow all the rules with capital letters, full stops, verbs, adjectives, lots of adjectives usually because they're the colourful words that help us paint a picture with words. But they're mashed up. It's a bit of a mash-up when we do poetry. And question 11 says, how can we describe what makes a poem? Now, I'm wondering if you added more to your list over here, because I had a really great list of things. I'm hoping there it is. I left them in. Poems often have imagery, things that you can visualize, rhyme, rhythm, alliteration, personification, a simile or a metaphor, sound words, onomatopoeia, repetition, so many things. The punctuation isn't quite the same. You can be creative. And you need to make sure you sent both your poems to your teacher today. So hopefully you got to check some of your ideas, what makes a poem and what's not a poem. You've written an acrostic poem and you've sent those to your teacher. Great job on your learning today, Year 3. Great job. I'll see you on Friday. I've got some fun on Friday I'm looking forward to as well.